And thanks to all of you for being here today. It's great to be back in this great metropolis and to reach out to all of the independent media that's not controlled by the state and by the big corporations so that we can speak directly to your many readers, listeners, and subscribers. I think we'll start with the obvious fact that everything right now in Canada, everything is broken. After 9 years of this NDP Liberal government, life costs more, with food prices having gone up 37% faster in Canada than in the United States. A gap that opened and widened as the carbon tax came into force. Who would have guessed? You put a tax on the fuel of the farmers who grow the food and the truckers who ship the food. You tax all who buy the food. Now we have a record-smashing 2 million people lined up at food banks every single month after 9 years of NDP Liberal policies. In fact, 1 in 4 kids are going to school hungry. Some food banks are running out of food altogether. There's a Facebook group called the Dumpster Diving Network. It's a group of people sharing tips on how you can dive into a dumpster and get food out of it. You could imagine, we never thought this would happen in Canada. There have been stories of hospitals that have had, in St. John's, for example, to bring in freezers that they put in their parking lot for dead bodies because family members can't afford to come and take home their dead for a burial or a cremation. They're that poor. These are stories that would have been unthinkable before this NDP Liberal government took office 9 years ago. And now they want to hike the carbon tax further. On April 1st, another carbon tax hike will kick in, and they plan to quadruple the tax to 61 cents a litre by the year 2030, which will devastate our entire economy as truckers and factories and others will simply leave the country to go to the United States of America. Meanwhile, housing costs have doubled. Vancouver and Toronto are now the 2 most expensive housing markets in North America. They've gone up faster in Canada by far than any other G7 country. In fact, we have the fewest homes per capita of any G7 country, even though we have by far the most land to build on. Crime, chaos, drugs, and disorder are overtaking our once tranquil and safe streets. Immigration is totally out of control, with population growth 3 times faster than the growth in the housing stock, with massive rampant fraud in the international student program, in the temporary foreign worker program. Our young people can't find jobs because multinational corporations are bringing in low-wage workers from poor countries in temporary positions at Tim Hortons and elsewhere. All these workers are good people, they're decent, hardworking, they're making great sacrifices, but they are being exploited by the greed of government and corporations combined. Our immigration system was the best in the world before this NDP Liberal government took over. And of course now, in this moment of incredible weakness, President Trump, who built his career in the most cutthroat real estate market in the world, Manhattan, the jungle of New York real estate, he can spot weakness from a mile away. And he looks at Canada under the NDP Liberal government of Trudeau, Freeland, and Carney, and he sees weakness. So what is Trudeau doing now? Well, they're going to change the name of the leader, but they're going to keep everything else the same. They're going to bring in either carbon tax Christia or carbon tax Carney. But both of them are just like Justin. They all supported his carbon taxes. They supported his housing policies, his immigration policies. In fact, carbon tax Carney, the only disagreement he had is he said that carbon tax should go up faster and higher than Trudeau was raising it. And so they will try to trick you, though. They will, right before the election, they'll say, oh, we've changed. We're completely different. Ignore everything we've done for the last 9 years. But of course, they haven't changed. If they were ever given the chance, they would not only do the same destructive woke agenda, but they would do it on steroids. So the answer, my friends, is we have to fire this NDP Liberal government and bring home the country that we knew and love, a country where hard work earns a powerful paycheck and pension that buys affordable food and homes in safe neighborhoods. That was the promise of Canada. When I was a kid growing up to two school teachers, they taught me, if you work hard, you can do anything in Canada. And they were right. That was the country my wife came to as a refugee from Venezuela. 6 people in a small basement apartment in East End working class Montreal. Her dad would go out into a farm field and pick fruit so that he could pay the rent. That's how they started, and now they've all been very successful. That's the dream every Canadian should enjoy, and we're going to bring home Canada's promise with a common sense plan to axe the tax, build the homes, fix the budget, and stop the crime. We will axe the carbon tax to lower gas, heat, and grocery bills. We will cut income tax so that hard work pays off and you bring home more of each dollar you earn. We'll take the GST off, the federal sales tax off new homes to save you up to $50,000 on your purchase. And I will reverse the capital gains tax increase that Chrystia Freeland brought in her most recent budget so that our small businesses and home builders and other entrepreneurs can grow and hire more people and benefit from the sacrifices that they make. In fact, I'm going to pass a big, beautiful, patriotic tax cut. It's going to be called the Bring It Home tax cut. It will cut taxes on work, investment, making stuff in Canada, home building, and the purpose will be to bring home paychecks and production to this country. We've lost $500 billion of investment from Canada to the U.S. in the last 10 years alone. That means our investment dollars are building American pipelines, American mines, American business centers, American technology. I want to bring that money home for our people, but it means we need to lower taxes and speed up permits, make this the best place on earth to do business. We will stand up to President Trump's threats. We will never be the 51st state. In fact, we will be more independent and sovereign than ever when I rapidly approve energy and resource infrastructure so that we can do more of the value-added jobs here in Canada rather than just giving the Americans our raw material and having them profit off of it. But the only way to do it is to have fast permits, low red tape, and very low taxes. That is the only way you will attract businesses to do the stuff here in Canada and bring home our money and our jobs for our people in this country. We will have homes again. We're going to build more homes. Not only will I take the sales tax off new homes, I will incentivize local governments to speed up permits, free up land, and cut development taxes to build 15% more homes per year. We will cap immigration below the level of home building, so we always build homes faster than we add people. We will stop the crime as well. Our crime is just raging out of control now. After 9 years of NDP Liberal catch and release, hug-a-thug policies that allow the same repeat offenders to be released again and again and again and again, often within minutes of their latest arrest. It's crazy. You know, in Vancouver, they had to arrest the same 40 offenders 6,000 times. 40 criminals got arrested 6,000 times in 1 year. That's each one of them getting arrested every 2 days. Like, they basically have to be doing crime all day, every day, in order to get arrested that much. Why don't we leave them in jail? It's very simple. If they're in a box, if they're in a cage that's 10 by 20 feet, they can't hit someone over the head with a baseball bat, or stab someone, or rob a bank. It's very simple. But instead, we have this insane catch and release law, C-75. Then we have C-5, that's the house arrest bill. So you can, the car thieves, that's what happens to them. Even if they get caught, and even if they get convicted, they get house arrest so that they can watch Netflix or play Grand Theft Auto in their living room after they stole the 50th car. This is ending. I will bring in the single biggest and most brutal crackdown on crime in Canada's history. We will be ruthless in cracking down on this scourge of crime, and we will put an end to it. These people will be in jail, and the small-time criminals, you know what? They will stop doing crime because they will be terrified of the consequences. Because there will be very serious and very ugly consequences for criminals when I'm Prime Minister. We will secure the ports with high-powered scanners to interrupt the stolen cars and drugs and guns that come across. We'll have more frontline CBSA officers, boots on the ground to stop transnational crime, human trafficking, gun smuggling. And we will pay for it by canceling the ridiculous multi-billion-dollar gun grab. They want to take away the property of licensed, law-abiding, trained and tested hunters and sport shooters. We know that the licensed firearms owners are not the problem. Anyone who's going to hand over their licensed firearm to the government is by definition not a criminal. So that's not the guy we need to go after. We need to go after the guns that come in. 82% of guns for crime in Toronto come from smuggling. They're already banned. They're already illegal. We need to ban the criminals. We're going to ban drugs, shut the drug dens, no more of these consumption sites that terrorize and ruin communities. Instead, we'll put the money into treatment and recovery services to bring our loved ones home drug-free. We will end the abuses of our immigration system, including by reducing the numbers, ending the abuses in the temporary foreign worker and international student program that have grown up under the NDP Liberals. And we will keep our nation safe with a stronger military. I intend to cut foreign aid, and I will put that money into rebuilding our armed forces, bring our money home for our soldiers, sailors, and airmen to secure our North American continent. And what I will say to our American friends, we want a secure North America, but we need a strong economy to do it. Drop your tariff threats. Let's deepen our trade ties, and we will use the resulting economic growth to help fund a bigger, more powerful Canadian military that will keep the Russians, the Chinese, and other aggressive players out of our Arctic, that will keep us secure and safe from terrorists and drug runners. This is how we will be strong. We will take back control. Everything is out of control right now, but we are going to take back control of our lives and our country. We're going to bring home Canada's promise and make this the best land of opportunity the world has ever seen. Thank you very much. Let's bring it home.